What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Civic Minded. First of all, sorry for the very long hiatus. That project I started back in January with the audio system, well, the device I ended up building ended up crashing my radio, so we've had to do all sorts of things with that, but I'm hoping to get more updates on that soon. But for now, today's project is going to be replacing this steering wheel, which, as you can see, is very worn, with this nice new steering wheel with wood. This came from BNI. I think it's made from a Honda part. Shipping was very slow. I ordered this before I even uploaded that last video, but I just got it. I figured, why don't we get it in? So there's lots of reasons why you might be replacing your steering wheel. There are certainly plenty of options out there, like steering wheel covers. You get just the OEM steering wheel. In my case, this is probably one of the few parts of the car that actually shows its age. You can see it looks okay from here, but if we turn around, yeah, there's a lot of wear on there. So this is going today, and this is going in. So yeah, first thing we want to do, because we're going to be pulling an airbag out, we want to pop the hood, get out of the car, wait for the automatic headlights to turn off, if you've got that. Open the hood and remove the negative battery cable. Just a 10mm bolt. Loosen it, pull the terminal off, then wait a couple minutes for the airbag capacitors to discharge. Easy enough. I'm sure it's something we've all done hundreds of times, being modders and all. I've certainly done it a lot, but yeah, just a 10mm bolt, wiggle the terminal, take it right off. With the battery disconnected, before we remove the airbag bolts, we want to open this little kick panel underneath the steering wheel. I'll turn the light on so we can see that a little better. And then there are two things we need to unplug back here. First, we want to unplug this little ground cable here. There's like a little button here that you depress, and then you pull it out. And then this, the big yellow airbag connector, you need to slide this black piece back toward the end of the connector, which is very strong, so you're going to need two hands for this. But slide that, and then just separate the two, they'll come right out. With those unplugged, the airbag is now held in by these two T30 Torx bolts. There's one on each side. You just want to they're on a bit tighter than you might think they are, so I would use something like a Torx adapter and a long ratchet to at least get them started. You could probably use a regular Torx screwdriver once they're loose. Note that they are not captive, so be sure they don't fall into the nether region where they get lost forever. So I just broke this one loose, and you see kind of how much effort it takes to turn it. So yeah. So with those out, you're going to want to just lift up on your airbag like that. Yeah, that came out pretty easy. The connectors, they have to sort of feed through that little maze there. I don't know what you call it. But set your airbag down so that it's facing with the Honda logo up, just so it doesn't rocket if it blows up or anything like that. And now we come to the actual steering wheel guts, and this is an excellent time to clean in here. We're probably going to have to swap some of these pieces, so I don't think you have a choice. But first thing we got to do is we got to unplug this clock spring connector for the audio and cruise control. Easy enough, just pops out like that. And then we got to get a 14mm bolt on this, or 14mm socket. Turn to the left, remove it. So definitely get an extension to get in there, because your ratchet's never going to fit in that. And the strategy I would recommend, if your wheel, you see how I'm trying to turn it and the wheel's spinning? Because I'm in the US and I've got the push button start, my wheel does not lock. So what I would recommend is that you grab one of the spokes of the wheel with one hand, turn the ratchet with the other, or just hold it with your legs if you're confident enough in that. But you can't go wrong with holding the spoke and turning this, so yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I ended up using a breaker bar for that because it was so tight, but once you've gotten the bolt broken loose, just loosen it with, I'm using the detach from the ratchet, and just pull the bolt out. Not that long of a bolt. And one thing you want to take note of is, you see how we've got this notch here, and then we've got a notch on the steering shaft like that? We want to make sure those line up when we reinstall, so just make sure you've got those. If you don't, get like a Sharpie or something and just draw it in, just so you know which way is up. And I think from here, we should be able to do something. Oh, okay. Just give it a little wiggle, and wheel comes right off, and there's a clock spring I replaced a couple years ago. Okay, so I have set up both wheels side by side of my workbench here, new workbench by the way. We got to move all this stuff on the old wheel over to the new wheel. And I think I'm going to start with those two Phillips head screws in the back. They look like they hold the audio and cruise control on. I'm going to start those, and I'll let you know where that takes me. Okay, actually, that's this back piece here. And there are 3 more screws that hold it in. One here, both Phillips head, and the one that holds your audio or phone controls if you've got that. And that bolts in with another Phillips head right there. And I think with those out, we can simply do that. All right, let's see what else is next. Ooh, does this one have? Okay, this one does not have those screws. So I think I'm gonna do these. This one, maybe oh no, there it is. Those next. I'm thinking that's gonna be the silver piece here. So I will try that and let you know. Okay, so if you want to save yourself a bit of trouble, just remove these bottom 2, and then you're going to want to unplug your cruise control and audio, but that's just a tab that you squeeze, like so, and then that'll all come out as one, so you won't have to worry about, oh, this looks like it's still connected to something, but I think the rest of it just pops out. Yeah, that just popped out, and yeah, this is being held in only by its wiring harness, so we will do that next. Just another tabs connector, and that'll come right out. And now is a really good time to clean this, if you're so inclined. Mine has been in there for 117,000 miles, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll get the actual harness off of the wheel. If you're replacing either of these sets of buttons, audio or cruise control, it's just that single screw that holds it in. You can just wiggle it and pull it out, and it's the entire black painted piece or whatever trim you've got here, and the buttons, so those will come out together. You can do whatever you got to do. I think the wiring harness itself is held in just by a couple of clips, so one there, there. Something's holding it here. Oh wait, there's a ground screw there that we got to remove. Looks like another Phillips head. Remove that. This should come off, and then it'll snap and screw into the new wheel just like it came out. Okay, I believe that ground screw is for the airbag, because I just noticed that that's still in here. The yellow one is attached to the clock spring, but this one's actually attached to the wheel, so make sure that's nice and tight. This one is, and the rest of this just snaps in. There's just a bunch of clips in the back, one there, one at each one of these spokes, and then one there. So that's in. I'm gonna put all of this back together now, and should be exactly the same. If there's anything different, I'll let you know. Takes a bit of doing, but that's what that should look like in the end. Really the only piece of advice I can give you is do these two before the really deep ones. And also worth noting that the deep ones actually don't screw into, well, I don't think they screw into the back, but there is a slot large enough for them to fall out of. So you're gonna wanna let me get the light on. That's where the deep ones screw into, and you can see the channel there. So yeah, you're gonna wanna, I gotta clean a bit, but you're gonna wanna, if you can, get a hand back there and hold the bolt as it's being screwed in. And these will kind of slip into their respective slots, so those aren't too bad. But yeah, I think it's ready to go back on the car. So to get the wheel back on, you're gonna wanna sorta get it started, get this yellow airbag wire through, at least so that it's not pinching. Make sure the clock spring doesn't spin too much. And you're going to want to get your bolt, and also notice the ticks. The new steering wheel's got a tick too. Get your bolt, screw it like so, and this gets torqued to 29 foot-pounds. You're going to want to employ the same strategy. Hold the side of the steering wheel and torque it if it doesn't lock. For your airbag, you're just going to want to snake. You're just going to want to snake your airbag wires back to where they originally came from. I don't think the airbag there's really nothing holding it in but the screws that we're going to put in, so see if you can get it. Yeah, see if you can get it to line up like that. And then you're going to want to put your screws in with fresh layers of Loctite on them, and I'll show you how to do that. So you're going to want to start with the Loctited Torx bolt on your little screw head here, and then just start tightening it by hand. The torque spec on these is 86 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. But it should just start tightening very easily once you've got it. And once you've gotten those torqued down, you can go ahead and reconnect the wiring and reconnect your battery, and you're done. Quick tip, when you're reconnecting the airbag, there are channels that the yellow connector and ground need to slide into before the cover will go on properly. Also, you guys probably made the same mistake I did, but this wire on the clock spring, make sure that actually passes through the steering wheel or it'll get pinched. When all is said and done, here's what we're left with. I just reconnected the battery. I think the hardest part you're gonna have is getting this bottom panel back on without, because those wires kind of have to squeeze in there. You may have to play with it a bit. I had to pull the airbag a couple times, I kept doing it wrong and it just popped out again, but yeah, why don't we do the big reveal on camera? And no, it's not 7:01, that's just because the clock lost power. Yep, okay. I'm gonna have to cut this, hang on. Okay, ready? Oh yeah. Looks good, feels good. Everything works, cruise control. Those buttons, the horn, those buttons as you can see. And yeah, I'm about to test drive this. I'm very happy with it. It's definitely adds a bit of class to this cheap compact car, which we're gonna make it feel a lot less cheap. I'm hoping to get some wood over here, maybe on the window panels, on the... I want to make the whole car like this, just maybe with a more beige leather wrap. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the steering wheel install. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment, shoot me a direct message, shoot me an email, aidencivicminded@gmail.com. And as always, drive safe, have fun. I will see you in the next one.